BTC pinged 98K. Can you believe that this stuff is going down at the moment? But is it time to get rid of some BTC? Is it time to start looking elsewhere? Today, I'm going to tell you my plan on how I'm going to be trading this current move in the market. We're going to be looking at maybe exiting some BTC for a couple of other things that might be in flavor now going forward. So we've got tons of updates for you guys. All the altcoins that we took yesterday, those trade setups we looked at, we're going to update all of those situations. We've got tons to talk about here. We're on the new channel today. Let's get right into it. Now, remember, as always, hit that like, hit the bell, hit the subscribe, and you are now on the new channel. And as promised, I'm going to do a giveaway today. I want to give away 5 lucky subscribers, $200 each. Okay, but you got to be subscribed to the channel. You got to have the bells on. You got to like it. You got to do all those things. And Ray is in the house. He's going to be monitoring the chats here, and he's going to select a couple of people. So let us know. Let us know if you are subscribed to the channel and talk to us in the chats. Then Ray is going to select you guys. Then you are going to email giveaways at @𝗙𝗘𝗏𝗏, and Ray's going to sort you out. So we're going to tell you exactly who needs to do the emailing, and just keep the comments coming. Keep Uncle Ray happy, okay? And he's going to select the best 5, but you must be subscribed to the channel. Okay, absolute bangers here at the moment, out of nowhere. What happened today? ETH absolutely started ripping, but what happens when ETH rips? Some of the ETH plays. Look at this optimism, 27%, Arbitrum 17, Lido 9.6, ENA, all the ETH plays have woken up. ETH even doing 7.6% for us. So that is something to behold. Is this time, or is it another fake out from the ETH market? So we're going to talk lots about this ETH situation today. Let's just get into BTC and see what the current situation is. So here's the current 1 hour chart. Now, things have been pretty wild lately, and I've had to work out a couple of interesting zones. But my best zone that I can give you guys at the moment for any dips here has got to be this 94,700. So 94,700 is what I'm watching here to the downside. You can see why this is a big zone for me. 382s, horizontals, VWAPs, and we've even got this new trend in play for us. So any dips into that zone, I'm looking for a BTC bounce. Not sure how high it can take us. Maybe a little bit higher, but we'll have to wait and see. But that is the current play to the downside that I'm watching. Then a little bit lower down, there are a couple of levels. So if there is a pullback here in the market on BTC, what you need to watch in the next 24 hours is 94,750, 93,600, 92,500. All of those zones should give you something. They should give you some type of reaction. Now, I didn't get a chance to put a poll together today, but I want some sentiment check here in the chats as well. I want to know how you guys are feeling, because I'm feeling a possible short on BTC. If we pump into 99,900 and 100,500, I'm looking for a short in that zone. Might be absolute suicide, but I'm going to show you what I've done on Prime XBT. I'm locked and loaded here. There are my sell orders ready to go. Ray, I'm ready to send this to 0. Any pumps into 99,900 I'm looking at, and then 100, 250. So what I'm looking for is a nice little fake out into that region. Just grab all the late longers, grab tons of FOMO, and then send everybody back to hell. So that is my current game plan. Ray, do you concur, or are you shorting already? Where are you, bro? Where are you in this space?
I got in on the first short at 97.5 a little early, but we caught it down. Now I concur with you. I think if it goes back up there, I'm shorting again. I'm shorting the all-time high again. If that fails, I'm shorting with you. 100K.
Yeah, look, I'm looking for this 100, the 100 zone. Okay, we'll see how it plays out. Obviously, we're gonna have to track things as we go, but that is what I'm looking for there. Any nice moves into that zone could be nice and juicy for us. Now, let's take a look at what is going on in the news. Well, this is incredible. Bitcoin was 69K 2 weeks ago. Okay, you blink and you missed it. Look at this thing. It's 96. I'm still in a bit of disbelief myself, I must say. And I mean, this market has really just taken off. And yesterday we had fear and greed at 90, and we're back at 82. Can you imagine what this thing's going to be tomorrow? It's got to be above 90. Surely we are looking at that. I see they're putting some shoes there at the bottom as well, and there's some clothes at the top. But anyway, we're focusing on the fear and greed index there. So that is looking still pretty bullish there. And then the Chinese court, this is bullish news. Chinese court says that BTC and crypto are now property, so holding them is legal. So China, we always had in 2021, they banning crypto, and here we are now. They're telling you it's legal. Okay, so that's pretty bullish for the market as a whole. That's pretty solid information. And then who remembers this? I mean, these Germans, they actually tried to end us a few months back. These guys were selling so much BTC and they were putting us in complete misery. Whenever we got a nice run here, the Germans stepped in and the Germans were dumping all their BTC. Well, nice 85% loss, okay, on your sell. They could have held. Do they not know what HODL is? Hey, it's lettuce hands or whatever they call this thing. But they missed out now. So they sold all their BTC at 55K, nice 85% move. Okay, I don't know. Maybe that trader needs to be spoken to. And then into the cryptoverse is talking about Doge being in a short-term bubble risk. Now, they've got a fancy chart here telling us that Doge could be in a little bit of danger. So I just took a look here. Now, we know the current situation with Doge. It's super bullish. It's the Department of Government Efficiency now. They've even started a podcast. So there's going to be Doge in people's faces all the time. So I'm not sure if we can call this thing a Doge bubble just yet because of what is still to come on Doge. There's going to be so much awareness coming through, but into the cryptoverse, just dropping a little warning sign for you guys. And I thought, let's quickly bang out the Doge chart and just confirm some major levels here. So if this thing is in a bit of trouble, what I would suggest, you just need to watch 34629. That is our zone number 1, and then 0.289. These are your 2 big zones that you need to pay attention to for Doge. Anything else is just a little bit of noise along the way. So watch these 2 levels, 34629 and 2894. That is really all you need to pay attention to. Doge on the weekly, still looking pretty good here. Any dips could be for buy, considering the change in the current Doge situation. So that looks pretty good. And Adam says he sold his neighbor's Goldie for 88. Come on, bro. Come on. And then the NVIDIA earnings came out. Now, remember, the trade was always going to be a play into NVIDIA earnings. We were looking at GRT, Render, some of the other AI plays to pump into NVIDIA earnings. And remember the rules. If you start pumping into earnings, it's generally a sell, regardless of what comes out. If you are dumping into the news, it's generally a buy, regardless of what comes out. So that is how these AI trades have played out for us, including the NVIDIA stock. So you can see they've absolutely smashed their earnings, but I think the market priced it in if we take a look at their chart. And we had that nice little pump over the last few days leading into earnings. And what happens? They get what they want and then they sell that news. Okay, that's a typical play. Remember with Tesla, we were dropping into support, into earnings, and we had the rocket ship. Now NVIDIA did the exact opposite for us. So remember, guys, when earnings come around for the important companies that you are trading, that you are looking at, just remember the rule. Okay, we drop into earnings, pump time, we pump into earnings, dump time is generally a nice rule of thumb that you guys can play with. So NVIDIA is now done and dusted. We'll have to find our next AI trade or our next crypto trade. Is most likely going to be an Apple type trade. Maybe we're going to get a Render situation out of that or something along the lines, but we'll keep you guys posted. And then a little bit of pressure on MicroStrategy today. Now, I think it's reasonable considering the size of the pump. I believe there's a couple of groups shorting this thing at the moment, but only 11% down now. But I believe it was about 20% down earlier today. So MicroStrategy, obviously super strong. As long as Bitcoin is holding, as long as Bitcoin is doing these things, pumping, whatever, MicroStrategy is going to keep on killing it. So keep your eyes on the Bitcoin price as a guide for MicroStrategy. If we get a massive dump in BTC, then you most likely see MicroStrategy start struggling a bit. And Ray says, Sonic Phantom launching December. Keep an eye. I agree. Okay, Phantom is one to watch. Phantom is what we need to pay attention to. And it could be an absolute banger. Now let's talk S&P, and you can see what's happened. We've just closed our gap. Okay, gap is now closed. So I would say odds are some kind of reversal now to the downside to close this next gap out here. So I would say if we do reverse on the S&P, look at 5,780. That is what I'm watching. And then upside resistance is all-time highs now. So watch out for 6,000. Okay, that's our next big one. And Venancio says MicroStrategy overbought. I concur. And I think a reasonable sell-off there is okay. Now, okay, here's the juice today. It's profit-taking time. Okay, and Bitcoin's been pumping hard. Okay, we've seen a couple of things going on in the market. I've been running quite a big Bitcoin trade, and considering where we are and considering the fireworks now in the market, for me, it's time to start taking a little bit of profit. And what I want to do with those profits is start allocating it to things like ETH and maybe some ETH ecosystem, and then a lot of other altcoins is what I'm going to be looking at. So this is time. Okay, it's time to close the Big Daddy. And here's Big Daddy. So he's been absolutely cooking. And it was a $240,000 position. It's now double. Okay, $140,000 up. You can see I've jumped into ETH here. This was my first buy. And I'm going to start rotating some of my profits into ETH. Okay, so let's close some of this trade here. Let's close half. And that is that. Okay, absolute banger on BTC, high conviction trade, got the profits now. Is it time? Can it run more? Yes, potentially it can. Is it time to start banking some profits on BTC to move into altcoins? I believe it is. Okay, even if we get one more dip on the altcoins, I think we're getting to a point where these altcoins could potentially start outperforming BTC around the corner. And I want to make sure that there's capital allocated and capital available for these things. So you can see I've started an ETH position today, $71,000 so far. Let's see how this plays out. If we get weakness for me, I'm adding to ETH now. No matter what they want to give us, I'm going to start growing an ETH position here on any downside using the BTC profit. So for me, maybe it's premature for a little rotation. Do you concur?
I concur.
But it's time to take some profits. It's time to rotate. Okay, we could be wrong and ETH dump some more, but then we get a better price. We've got some cash and we can start adding to that. So that is my current game plan. And I'm going to give you a little bit of information around this as to why I think this is a banger for us. And let's just finish on BTC. Here's BTC on the 3-day and still tracking to the 2618 target. Again, I'm not saying we can't go to 113. I do believe that it is possibility, but the risk reward for me on staying long at the moment after the size of this move we've just had starts to just get a little bit lower for me at the moment. So clipping these profits here, and then anybody trading BTC as spot on the 3-day, big levels, 93,500, 86,600, 81,500. Those are your downside supports, and then the absolute banger. But this has got to be missiles, rockets, Russia, all the story that will come if there's big drama out there. And I think it will be a very quick move. So anybody who wants to have a stink bid here on BTC, 72,500, probably a good area if you want to have some kind of limit order waiting if there are any wicks in the market. Now, let's talk dominance. Now, we saw a thing of absolute beauty today. This dominance started pumping, started putting us under lots of pressure, and then we had a massive reversal on the 15 minutes. Now, that is always a good start. So anybody who felt that out pump in the last couple of hours, that was that little move on dominance. And then if we zoom out and just look at what you've just felt on these altcoins, if we zoom out on the weekly and take a look as to what is actually going on here, that is a tiny, tiny drop in the ocean, that little move that you've just experienced here. So at some point, again, this might not be the top for dominance. We could see dominance pushing higher, 62.4 and 65. Okay, that might be the major rejection zones. But when we get that type of move on dominance from whatever that zone is, okay, these altcoins are going to absolutely fly. And I want to make sure that I'm allocated in things like ETH. I don't want to get caught off guard when that type of things happen. So Pascal says, when rockets fly, dips are to buy. I concur, sir. I absolutely concur. Okay, let's talk ETH now. Well, let's first talk altcoins and BTC. This is very important information. Now, this was dropped this morning. Okay, so Benjamin was obviously feeling quite smug with himself when we dropped into all those hot zones that I gave you guys yesterday on my show. And he's saying the good news is that alt BTC pairs will likely stop bleeding in 6 to 7 weeks. Okay, the bad news is that alt BTC pairs will likely not stop bleeding for 6 to 7 weeks. So he's just saying there is still danger on the table here that dominance pushes higher. Now, if dominance is pushing higher and Bitcoin keeps pumping to 120K, that is fine. Okay, things are good and we should be okay. But the problem comes if we have a sharp Bitcoin dump now and this dominance pumps to those levels I've just shown you on the weekly, these alts are printing new lows. It's as simple as that. And that is why his thesis could be pretty interesting for us. So I want to make sure, again, and I suggest the same for you, if you're trading some alts now, make sure you have some capital ready in case there is some kind of drama, in case there is some kind of pullback here on these altcoins. Now, we're going to go through tons of them, obviously. And then Milky Bull Crypto says alt season starts next month. Okay, according to him, as it's usually the month ETH BTC historically experiences a bottom. Now, he's given it's a very sketchy, he's pulled out a trend here. Okay, so it's close. Okay, I'm going to show you my chart as well. And you're going to see we bounced off this trend today, but I still suspect we have to hit the harder horizontal level. Okay, so we did get a nice little bounce here on ETH versus BTC. And then Matthew Siegel talking about ETH strength getting confirmed by fundamentals. The blobs per block exceed critical level 3. Fundamental, guys, that must make you guys drool. Okay, so I can't even decode that. All I can see is pump time in the ETH charts when these types of things start coming out for us. And then 𝗙𝗢𝗟𝗟𝗢𝗪, remember, This is important stuff, guys. ETH ecosystem plays. What you can do, follow 𝗙𝗘𝗟𝗏 here. He's one of the top researchers here at Banter, and he's just reminding you, if ETH shows strength, here are some ETH plays that you can pay attention to that you might want to be watching, or at least have on your watch list. Maybe you want to start getting some positions in some of them, and he's giving you a whole list. Now, some of my favorites are things like 𝗙𝗢𝗘, obviously, ENS, I love that, 𝗦𝗧𝗥𝗡, I love that thing, Optimism, Arbitrum, those types of things. So take a look. 𝗏𝗡𝗡, absolute shitcoin, but maybe it can pump. But he's given you a nice list of ETH ecosystem plays. So keep your eyes on that list. These are charts you might want to be watching over time. And then here is my ETH BTC chart. So you can see we've had an interim bounce, and that has resulted in a little bit of ETH strength here now today. And that was a nice solid reaction. Look at that solid reaction off that macro trend. So what am I expecting? Look, in a perfect world, what I'd love to see, this thing keeps grinding higher. Okay, and we reject in that type of region. That will take ETH to some big numbers. We'll probably see ETH 3.5, 3.8, those types of levels. These altcoins will start absolutely ripping. So that would be ideal. Okay, perfect world for the longs that we're sitting in and those types of things. Then we start absolutely cooking. But what I don't want to see, which I suspect could be on the table here for us, short little move up. Okay, get all the late longers in on some of these alts and then reverse us and send us to the real zone. Okay, so that is my one concern here with ETH versus BTC. And that 0.28, 0.29 level could still come into play. So for me, I do look, the trend holds weight. Okay, it's a weekly trend, it's a macro trend here in play. But what is also interesting to me is the size of these horizontals in this type of region here, and that is a big, thick weekly zone that we need to pay attention to. So short-term punts, cool. If we start breaking through these areas, then we're going to get super excited. But what I want to say is look out for that little fake out here, then the reversal, then we get some proper buys on some of these. And James is calling fake out. Come on. Okay, Ray, we need to give some giveaways here. And Rattus is subscribed. Ray, put Rattus on the list immediately, and he's gonna get that giveaway. So Ray's gonna start going through the list. Just say like really nice things in the comments. Make Ray feel good about himself. Okay, and then he's gonna select. The power is in Ray's hands. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Usman says, Uncle Dylan ready for takeoff. Guys, we had a good start. What I want to know from you guys is, who got those banger entries? Who got whiff at $3? Okay, if anyone here who got whiff at $3, raise your hand. Okay, we gave you that level yesterday. Absolute banger. 𝗙𝗢𝗘, that one front ran. Unfortunately, that one took off a little bit early. But guys, I want to know in the chat who got some of these setups. And remember the rules of watching the show. Sometimes these setups take a couple of days. Sometimes they take 24 hours to play out. But what you need to do, as always, pick your favorite tokens that you're watching, that you see on the show. Set your alarms. Focus on those ones. Obviously, sometimes we don't hit them. Sometimes they miss their zones. But there were a couple of absolute bangers yesterday. Pick your favorites, focus on those. That's all I can suggest here. Obviously, don't trade every single token that I talk about here. And Naive says, in case you missed out BTC at 50K, there's a Christmas special on ETH. Now, Ray, do you concur yet? Or do we get the dumpage? What happens next year, sir? It's important. Ray's on the coast. Ray's sitting on an island. Hello, sir.
What happens first? I think ETH retest. I think we have a pullback first.
Pullback Ray, bear Ray. Okay, so anyway, guys, I think this is the time. You know, Bitcoin's had a nice run here. Yes, it can go to 120, maybe. Okay, time for me, take profits. Let's start looking at some altcoins and really start focusing on some of those. So let's start with the ETH chart. So this was my game plan, and this game plan is not out of the woods just yet. You can see ETH has not printed a new high just yet. And what we've been saying with all these altcoins, now you've seen it with AVAX, Phantom, a lot of the other ones, they actually started their downtrend. But you can see ETH has been holding the 3,030 zone for quite a while now, quite a few days, for a week. Okay, it's been sitting on that area while we saw a lot of the other altcoins printing new lows, doing these types of things and those types of areas. So ETH has been relatively strong compared to some of them. But again, no changes to support. 3,000 is your big number here on ETH. What happens next? What is the next game plan? So for me, I've started my position. What I would love to see is another pullback. Back to 3,000, back to 2,780. That's my ideal scenario, okay? If we don't get that scenario, what happens next for ETH? Looking for a massive pump here. Okay, we're going to look for this break of this major daily level there. Okay, then any retest here, we add into ETH positions. Okay, that's going to be the game plan there. And then it's going to be retest of about 3,400, those types of levels. That is where I can start adding to that big ETH position there that we want to start growing. So that is the game plan here. And I just want to point out again, one more time, Wavemaster, we've been tracking this thing. This is the daily. Okay, the daily's overcooked. Okay, let's not lose focus on that. We know Wavemaster was setting up for short time bounces yesterday, and we were looking at 4-hour time frames. We were looking at 8-hour time frames. Those things, the dailies still want to turn over on some of these tokens. So I don't think we're completely out of the woods just yet. Now, let's talk about some bangers here. Okay, here's Optimism, absolute banger. I mean, this thing's woken up from the dead. Okay, so here's your opportunity now. So Optimism for me can only be a retest play. And for me, it has to be a retest play on a hot zone. So for me, anyone trading Optimism, if you're looking for something now, if we're saying ETH is waking up, if we're saying ETH ecosystem could be something to start paying attention to, Optimism for me, 1.86. This is now your major support zone. Look at that. Also looking a little bit cute over there, little inverse head and shoulders. So 1.86 on Optimism is now going to be your major support. So any dips here in the market, that for me is a big buy. So now that we've broken through a major weekly zone, okay, major daily zone, what does that mean for us? It means we've opened up the next potential trade on Optimism. So we've unlocked the gate, and we are now looking for a 62% move on Optimism. But now we got to be smart with our entries. We got to make sure we dialed in. And for me, alarms on 1.88. Get your alarms on just above that zone. 1.9, 1.88 over there. Let's add an alarm. That is what you want to see. So any nice pullbacks there, remember that feeling. You're going to be feeling super bearish when it happens. You're going to think the market's falling over. That's probably your hot zone then. When you get that feeling and you're on a major area, that is probably the bounce zone for you. So I'm sure a lot of you had that on whiff yesterday. I'm pretty confident you guys had that on whiff. Ray, did anyone get whiff in the chat here? Are they telling us? Did they tell us they got some whiff there yesterday? I think I caught the absolute bottom of whiff there with that exact level here. Let's see who's in the chats here. James says, give me that ray of sunshine. Maya says, let's go, Ray. Guys, you must be nice to Ray. You must make him feel good. Make him feel amazing. Here we go. CZ says, Ray's an absolute banger. I concur. Okay, let's talk Metis, another ETH play. And also, this has been one we've been tracking for the last couple of months. We've been tracking this Metis. And now the minute we saw some ETH strength, this thing popped off and off our major support. So Metis hasn't quite broken into our next zone. So we need to just be cautious here for now. Okay, you can see we've tried to break into the zone. Metis traders, just be cautious. But what I can give you now, we've got new support that we can play with at the moment. So Metis 46.6, look for that. If we get a dip in the market there, 46.6 could be your banger. Alternatively, 42.77. That is major support now for us after that nice move. You can see that's been tested a couple of times. So Metis 46.6 and 42.77. That is something to watch. Remember, our upside target is 62 on Metis, and then I've got another target for you at 78. So I do expect these to come at some point. It's just a matter of time. So yeah, for me, eyes on this thing. I think there's going to be a little bit of momentum at some point. Okay, let's talk Sol now. You might have noticed Sol's pretty much at all-time highs again, and there's news floating around. Talks between SEC Gov staff and issuers looking to launch a Sol spot ETF. They're progressing. Okay, things are going far. There's a whole story going on here, and you saw that there's lots of catalysts now in the market. And yesterday we were looking at the Sol versus BTC chart, and I gave you two potential bounce zones. One of them was on this cluster of moving averages, 200-day, 50-day, 100-day. Bang. Okay, the other one was the lower region. Now you've seen a very similar thing to the ETH BTC chart. If you take a look at this, you can see we bounced off that interim trend. Then we got our bigger level. Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Say hello to Uncle. Here's Uncle. Say hello.
It's all
there you
season,
go.
baby. It's all
Is
season.
it? Is it?
Well, look at ETH, bro. Look at the bubbles.
I'm in.
Go
I'm all
to
over
the
you.
bubble. Are you all over you?
I'm all over.
Show me your trade, sir.
I'm all over you.
Now, what
And I
exactly? Wait, what
I got it
exactly?
here as well. Look here.
Jesus, look at the size of your trade. What exactly is this exchange?
That's zooming. And then I've also got it here on Bible. Check here.
Bro, how come all your trades are green, all my trades are fucking red?
You got to do my course.
When is your course?
It's coming, guys. I got a school coming very soon. Very soon.
Oh, hello guys. Is it a banger show today? Is it a big show?
Banger. It's not bad. It's our new channel.
Well, what am I going to hear? Why are you giving me
Say hello to everyone. Say hello to Ray.
Hello, Ray. What's up, Ray? What's up, nigga?
What's going on, sir? How are you?
Why is it an avatar? That's not Ray, bro. That's Avatar.
What's happening? No, it's Ray, man. What do you mean? It's Ray, man.
It's Rayman. Holy shit, ETH is at 3,321. Would you be buying now, or did I miss this
No,
trade?
I bought that breakout earlier, but what I'm doing is taking profits on BTC. I want to start building an ETH position.
So build ETH position. So
I
buy.
think it's time. Yeah,
It's time, eh?
but be ready
Yes,
for
I'm at
pullback.
Table Mountain. Whoever
And
said
risk reward
that.
now, so you can trade off.
Okay, so we're buying ETH. Someone says they sold their optimism this morning. Have a fun staying poor. So,
Okay, let me do my show. Sir. Come, let me do.
I'll
my
do your show. So just tell me what charts we're talking about. I'll do the
I've
rest.
got so much. We're doing Sol now. Come, we're doing
Sol.
Do Sol.
Oh, let's do Sol together, sir.
Okay, here we go. Okay, so Sol, we're talking. We've done Nexus there. Okay, so there's Sol. So Sol
Oh.
bounce versus BTC, absolute banger. First bounce zone that we were looking at. Now we're looking at higher time frame here. Target locked in 271. What we're looking at for Sol here. That is the first target. Big support here. 200 and 205. That type of region is going to be your major support. Any dips, and then 195 to 190 is a banger zone for me. Have you had enough? Have you had enough of my show? he's a hodler. Okay, he's not a degen like me. He's not a degen. Okay, so Sol is locked in, guys. Okay, absolute banger here for Sol at the moment, and we are cooking here on the lower time frame. So now with that news that's come in, obviously everybody is getting excited about Sol, and everybody's feeling a little bit of Sol FOMO at the moment. And airdrop Arcanist says, let Dill run the show. I concur. It's my show. It's my office. Okay, so Sol is absolutely cooking. What I can give you guys for the degens, I just want to show you something as well. So we had this situation earlier today, and we were dropping in the zone. Look at this hot zone here. I just want to show you guys how these hot zones can work for you. This was a typical pullback on Sol, 382, anchored VWAP, horizontals. Look at the size of that bounce off that little pullback. So there's a lot of that coming. Okay, I've got a school for you coming soon, and I'm going to teach you all of these things, and you're going to learn about all of the stuff. So you're going to hear about it in a couple of days. But Sol, right now, what we can do now is start tracking degen levels for us. So we're going to pull from the lows to the highs. Okay, we're going to start adjusting our fibs. We want to get to our new degen plays. So we just move our levels a little bit higher up there, and then we start looking for reaction zones. So if you're looking for a Sol position and you're an absolute degen, your degen support 245 is what you're going to be watching. So there is a little bit of weakness here. 245, that is what you're looking at there for Sol. And then alternatively, lower down, 240. Those are your degen zones now in play on any pullbacks now today. So the same principle we had on the show yesterday when we were looking at degen levels and pullback zones and some of the altcoins, exactly the same now. You got to let it play out, okay? Unless you're trying to catch breakouts on lower time frames, you're obviously creating risk for yourself. But for me, best if we get it in those baskets on those pullbacks, and that is what I like to do. So looking for 245 and 239. Those look like the best areas there for me on Sol at the moment. Okay, so now we've got a couple of trades going on here in Bybit. Now you can see just before the show, I said to Ray, I'm starting a small SHIB position just in case we start getting a move here. Now yesterday I gave you 2 SHIB zones that were of interest. Now I dropped into our first zone. I missed that opportunity. Now SHIB is back at a resistance. I'm going to show you guys why I'm interested in this thing. So I've started a small SHIB position. You can see I've also got some ETH action here on Bybit. Then I've got a Brett long still running. My Brett short is actually doing even better at the moment. So I remember we had a Brett pump, so I started grabbing that short at the top there. Then Phantom, I'm long from yesterday, and I've been building a position. So that thing is starting to cook. Render, I've got a head short in play here, and I'm going to show you why I shorted Render earlier, and I've got that set up for you guys. Myro, I've got a head short. I've got to talk to you guys about Myro. God, XRP still short the shitcoin, and AVAX still got a banger long going on there, and ADA, okay, got some ADA action as well, and that was a trade I took about an hour ago. I dropped that in Sniper Club, telling them I was going long on ADA. So we're going to talk through some of these, and then obviously the banger. I mean, Sol's absolute banger. I mean, this thing is relentless at the moment. So you can see I have added to my Sol position now, and things are looking a little bit bullish. So riding this one up, let's see how we can go. So now let's talk about some of these trades from yesterday. Let's talk about some of these setups that I'm in here at the moment. So Phantom was a big one for us. We had 2 zones yesterday. The first one was going to be the 618, which wasn't a high. It wasn't a 10 out of 10 banger for me. Okay, the 618, 64.79. It was a zone. Okay, it was a zone of interest. It wasn't a banger. The banger for me was 60. So there's a part of me that still says we need to come back and visit that 60 region. I don't want to take that off the table. So for me, phantom traders, I'm still watching this 0.6 level. But what is interesting for us, remember, we were looking at WaveMaster for a short-term bounce, and look at that. Okay, this thing is now showing a bit of divergence. Look at that. We've got our divergence, price going lower, RSI printing higher, giving us bullish divergence there on Phantom. So that is telling us there could be a little bit more in the tank here for Phantom. Okay, let's see how that plays out. And if Phantom is going to continue running, it's got a little bit of work to do. So right now you can see it's at a danger zone. It's at a resistance band, and that is our trend resistance. You can see we've rejected off that region once already. Now we've just got to look as to how we can play this thing. So if we do get a trend break on Phantom, I just want to make sure you guys are covered and you are playing this safe. So anybody who didn't get this Phantom bounce or didn't start catching some of the momentum, what you need to do now, dial into the 1 hour.
Wait. How about everybody that didn't smash the like before we dial in? Dial in to smash on the like.
Remember, new channel, okay? Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the bell. Ray is literally doing a giveaway now. 5 members are getting $200 for being subscribed.
I already picked them.
Oh, you picked them already?
You picked the first guy, yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so you got
Ray on the show.
Okay, so Ray's, have you collected the names? Are they in the chats or what's the story?
They're in the chat. They're in the chat.
Okay, so guys, you need to mail giveaways at 𝗙𝗘𝗘𝗦.com. Those people, show me that you obviously subscribed, and just say you saw it on Dylan's show, and then we're going to sort you out. Okay, as simple as that. Okay, congratulations, and we'll do a couple of more of these. If you guys missed out, we'll make sure you get more. Okay, then let's talk, let's finish this Phantom. So there's a couple of options now on Phantom. Now we've had a pump. There's a couple of signs telling us longer term, 4 hour, we might be bullish. Obviously on the daily, we still may be leaning a little bit to the downside. If there is going to be another move on Phantom and you've missed a ton of this, your safest play is to start looking at some bullish pullback zones. And what you can do here is bang out your fibs and you try and look for some confluence here on some solid areas. So for me, I just want to zoom in here so you can see this clearly. And for me, your Phantom support, I mean, this is a banger here. Ooh, you hit the 50-day and you hit the horizontals there. Look at that. Okay, so that is a nice little zone there for us. So I would say Phantom using 0.686. That has got to be your first line of support now. If there is a little bit of weakness in the market, that could be a potential degen bull zone for you. Look out for the wick to 67. That could keep it alive. Okay, so if the market stays bullish, I would expect those levels to hold. If the market gets rejected, let's say BTC starts falling over now a little bit early, then we're zooming out again and we're looking at Phantom at the 60 region. Now that is the big one. That is the absolute banger for me to the downside. 60 on Phantom. Degens, if you want to have a go, your support you can use 686. 674. Okay, that is your safest play. Obviously, remember, guys, if you're trading high leverage, okay, make sure you understand your percentage stop loss is times by your leverage. So if you've got 10x leverage and you have a 3% stop, that's a 30% capital risk that you are taking. So make sure you manage your position sizing and the amount of leverage you are using. It's very important. You don't want to go get rinsed in a bull market. There's nothing worse than getting rinsed in a bull market. And Mr. Invalidated one. Who's Mr. Invalidated? Tell me who's Mr. Invalidated there, Ray. Okay, so Phantom, if there is another move now and we do get a bit of push, I just want to give you some targets that you can watch. First one is 76. Okay, that is a big one. Look for that pump into that zone. So if we get a nice push here, look at 76. Danger zone there for me. And then your next target is going to be the highs. Now, that would be pretty extreme if we start breaking those highs. So I would expect a pullback before we start breaking those highs. So look out. If you do, if there is a little bit more juice in the tank, that is what you're going to be watching. So 76 and 82 for Phantom. But bulls, remember, you want to hold that 50-day MA and you want to make sure that bullish support holds. Okay, so anybody who missed the setup yesterday, now you are chasing a bit. Remember the rules. Best entries come when the market is dropping, when you're feeling bearish. You don't want to watch crypto. You hate crypto. Market's falling over. That's when you're watching me. Okay, that's where we give you these big setups. And that's where we get those initial entries. Then we get the trend breaks. Then we can start playing trend breaks and adding to those positions. Remember, by the time we get to breaking trends, often these entries that you got are your TP zones. Okay, so you're already one step ahead if you manage to snag some of these levels here. So the next play now is the trend break. Let's see if we get a little bit of action out of Phantom. Okay, so that is that. And then let's talk GRT. So again, absolute banger off one of the hot zones again yesterday. So we had that NVIDIA news sell-off. So anybody that grabbed GRT, you can see we dropped into our hot zone here. We had anchored VWAP 618 horizontals. It was all going down here. So right now, if you are in GRT, your support you are watching is 21. No changes to this. Okay, and I just want to point out again, we had a pump in the market. What happened? Rejection. Big danger zone here. 382s, VWAPs, horizontals. That's a danger zone for me on GRT. But if you're holding this position, watching 21, that is your support zone, and then no changes to our lower level. So mark this one on your charts. If the market does give us a dip, this is your banger. Okay, this is your zone. 1968. 1968 is where it's at on GRT. So make sure, even for a rainy day, okay, so let's say GRT starts pumping up, okay, we eventually reject in 3 or 4 days, that is a banger, okay? Look out for that area there. 1970, 1960, those types of levels, that is what you're looking at for GRT. So even if there is a short-term pump, just make sure you know where your next big zone is for GRT. Okay, let's talk Rune. So this was an interesting one, and I want to point this one out again. And we looked at this yesterday, and there were signs that we were going to get a reversal. Okay, we were saying there were 2 levels on Rune that we could watch. Okay, the first one was our hot zone at our 618 that we were paying attention to. The next one was at 4741. Now, it's interesting what happened here. They didn't close under this region. So you must always pay attention to what these market makers like to do. They like to come and put pressure on the charts. They like to come and put pressure on you at the lows. Okay, they send it down, so you close your position, you panic sell, and then they rip that thing back up. That's called a stop hunt. They do that a lot of the time, and that is something you need to look out for. So this was a typical move. Look how these candles just ended up closing above that stop region that we gave you guys at 5. So that was interesting play, little stop hunt there. And now Rune has broken trend. So now let's look at how we can play this one. If there is going to be a bigger move on Rune, we need to understand where our bullish support is on the lower time frame, and we need to understand where the potential targets are for us. So what I'm doing here is just zooming in for you guys, and we're going to look at this 1 hour. So we're going to take our fibs low to the highs, and again, just like Phantom, same story here. Look at this bullish support floating around the 50-day moving average. So this is an interesting zone for us there, 5.25. And then your next big support that I would suggest you watch is going to be just above that 618. It's going to be that horizontal there. In fact, I would say watch everything to just under that 618 fib. So your levels that you can watch now for degens, okay, your first degen zone, 5.25, okay, support zone number 1. We do dip into that. And then anything down to 5.117. Look for 5.117. If we're going to stay bullish, you most likely get that higher low printed. Okay, you most likely get that type of scenario, and then you get a nice little push in the market. So now I just want to identify some targets and some danger zones for you if the thing does start running. And the first one you want to pay attention to is this VWAP here. Look at that zone. So 5.58. That is a danger zone for me. And then I've got another target here for you guys, a little bit higher, 5.75. And then look, a lot can happen after that, but let's stop it there. Okay, I'm not expecting too many fireworks here. So 5.75, 6. Okay, those are your upside targets. So watching 5.55, 5.75, 6. Okay, upside targets for Rune, and those are your supports. And bonsai, yeah, guys, we'll see. I like that meme coin. I like it. Okay, so 5.25. That's what you got to watch. That's your first line of bullish support there. Now let's talk SHIB. And a little bit of a risky play here for me. Okay, so again, this is a bet that the market actually cracks on now and starts putting pressure on these trends and starts popping. So it's a little bit aggressive. Okay, it's not the best vibe. Okay, so I've tried a small SHIB, and we're going to dial in now. So I gave you 2 options yesterday. Option 1 was, okay, drop into our hot zone, which we got. Option 2 was break of trend, then we go. Okay, now considering what the market's been doing here, I wanted to just get in early in case there is going to be some kind of move on SHIB. You guys will remember yesterday that tweet that I showed you with regards to the tokens getting moved off the exchanges, and the guy was saying, look, the last time that happened, there was a 62% pump in SHIB. So I thought, look, maybe this thing has been a lagger. It's an old shit dino meme coin. Maybe there's something here, and I've just been tracking it for a couple of days. So this is what we're watching. Now you can see I've opened a position on Bybit, not really in a great zone, but what we can do is start paying attention to our key supports. So let's zoom in, and you can see this VWAP coming into play for us very nicely here. And we've got a beautiful wick. So we know that wick could mark a nice low for us on the 618. Okay, so that is a nice banger there for us. So I'm going to use that support. So if I start getting a candle close on SHIB under that 618, I'm just going to cut that position very quickly, and then we'll see what happens lower down. Okay, but right now, that is my bullish play. If we do get a bit more energy on SHIB, we most likely come and take out this wick. You can see we got this nice sell-off here, nice wick in that zone. Okay, we most likely come and take that wick out, so we get some kind of push up. Then we're looking for that retest. Okay, that is what I want to see come out of SHIB. So let's see if there's something here in the tank for SHIB, and then let's look at a couple of targets for us here to the upside. And first one's 26. Okay, that's a tiny little move there, 26. But I suspect if this thing gets momentum, the world's going to wake up. Okay, so 26 is what you need to watch. And you'll see these alts look very similar. A lot of the structures look the same. And 277. So 26 and 277, those are going to be the targets for me on SHIB. So let's see how that plays out. Let's see where we are here. Okay, we're pretty much flat at the moment there on SHIB. Okay, cool. And okay, where are we? Phantom, GRT, bang, bang. Okay, SHIB, you covered. Okay, let's talk Peppy. And this is an interesting one. So I took this Peppy trade. Asha, bro. Guys, all I can say is, okay, you less wrecked. Okay, if you wait for those entries on those dips, okay, you get more wrecked chasing trades, chasing green candles. You get the stops, you get the stop, you get the stop, then you get the pump. Okay, so that is the risk you guys are playing. So what I suggest is, as usual, every time, pay attention to my show, watch my show every day. I give you a whole list of setups. Sometimes on the day, there's no active trades that you can take, but sometimes we have to wait till the next day. Sometimes even that evening, those trades start hitting their zones. Okay, so just make sure you're consistently watching the show, watching the levels, watching the areas, and then you will start getting it. You'll start getting the hang of this whole thing. So here is Peppy on the 1 hour. Now this front ran our zone. Okay, so today was typically a momentum play for me. So I didn't get my entry here. We had limit orders waiting in that region. I was licking my lips, okay? When I saw that whiff hit, I really was excited. I thought I'd nailed some Peppy there. And they front ran that zone, unfortunately. And now this thing is running. It's also breaking a trend. And this is now directly with ETH strength. Okay, we love Peppy on ETH strength as well. So that is always a fun trade for me. Strong ETH, strong Peppy is an absolute banger. And you can see what's going on now. We've broken trend. So what do we do next on Peppy? Well, we've got a danger zone ahead. That is 227. You're going to be watching that one. Look at those horizontals there. And then your safest play now is to say, okay, we've broken trend now. Am I feeling bullish? If I am, okay, then I've got to look for my bullish pullback support zones. And then I've got to decide, where do I cut the position if things start going against me? Okay, so it's the same principle with all of these alts here at the moment. And you want to just watch your key support zones. So now in this example, we hit our anchored VWAP again. Look at that. Beautiful support there. So we've seen some have the 50-day MA, some have the VWAP, some of the horizontal, there's different combinations here. But what we can see here, that VWAP has come into play as a support band for us. So what I would suggest here on Peppy, okay, look for that. Anywhere in that box, okay, we can stay relatively bullish there on Peppy. So if we do start dipping, look around, ideally, something in that 20275 zone. You can use that as support now if you are trading Peppy. And let's clean this up here so you guys can see what is going on. And then a little bit lower down, okay, this is your next bull zone. So if it's going to stay bullish, this is typically where you get the reaction. 19420. Okay, 19420. So if you believe the market stays bullish now for the next couple of days, what you can also do is ladder in, buy there, ladder in, buy there, okay, and then decide where you want to cut. So you can have 2 entries potentially if you think this thing is going to bounce, and that is how you can play this thing. So looking to the upside, you can see our targets again. Just a reminder, this 22677 level, and then I've got another one for you at 2396. Okay, those are your upside targets there on Peppy. And remember, trend break now. We need the bulls to step in on any retest. You can see we've had a retest here on the VWAP. So you can use that now as your support. 20275 is what you guys can watch. And then just take a look at these types of things. You can see our 1 hour on MDX Wave Master is pushing higher. Let's take a look at our 4 hour. Is just turning up now. Okay, so that's pretty bullish. Okay, that's telling us there could be an extended move. Let's see what happened the last time we had that 4 hour push on MDX Wave Master. Look at that, bang. Okay, so maybe we're going to get something here for Peppy. That is why I'm interested. Okay, just pay attention. NZ Daddy, you know what's going to happen. Okay, you know what's going to happen. You guys are going to make yourself you're going to make yourself millionaires. Okay, let's just take the screen off here. Okay, because what you're going to do is you're going to pay attention to what we're doing here. You're going to take profits along the way. Okay, you're going to make sure you bank profits. There's nothing worse in a bull market than consistent round trips, getting rinsed. Okay, don't do that. Okay, I'm giving you hot zones. We're going to take some trades where we add to our positions. We try and grow them as much as we can. Then we're going to take other trades and we're going to clip profits at very short TP zones so that we keep banking along the way. And then you can buy spot or you can bank dollars or whatever you want to do. Okay, so you're going to do it yourself. You're in control of your buttons. All I can do for you is give you my content, give you the best setups that I take, give you the best setups that I can give you, and help you along your journey. But yes, what's it? Wag me. We're gonna make it. Okay, we are gonna make it. Okay, let's talk 𝗙𝗘𝗘𝗫 here. I took that trade on Bitfunded this morning. Now, this was a momentum trade. Okay, this was, so it wasn't off the hot zone. It was purely momentum. I saw ETH started pumping, so I immediately just jumped into that. Okay, we saw that ETH rip, and then I thought, well, quickly, we got to jump into a couple of alts. One of them was GRT. I had a small one on GRT, and then I took this 𝗙𝗘𝗫. I'm trying to hold it here a little bit longer. So you can see it does have a little bit of legs. My entry's not great. 19714 is my current entry, and I actually don't have a stop loss yet. So we need to actually identify where we can put it. And for me, I'm going to put my stop at 1919. That's a hard stop. So if I'm sleeping, there's going to be a hard stop there. Okay, if you're watching the show, then you do what you need to do and you can pay attention, look for those stop hunts. But for me, 1919. Okay, that's going to be a hard stop there for me on 𝗙𝗘𝗫. And okay, so let's see how that plays out. Now remember, guys, all these things I talk about are in the show description. So go under the show, you will find ZoomX that I'm trading on, WEEX'S that I'm trading on, Bybit, all these links, MDX Algo, Easy Algo, and Bitfunded, they're all there in the show description. Remember, Bitfunded is prop funded trading. That is why this account at the top here says demo. Okay, what they do is you send them $79 or $100. You get a 5K account or a 10K account. They give you a demo account. Okay, make 8%, make 5%, then they give you real money, and then you trade with their money, and you keep 80 to 90% of the profit. So a nice strategy, especially if you're new to trading. Maybe try something different and start teeing up some of these things. You got to be super disciplined here, and you really got to pay attention. You got to teaches you nicely about stops and all those types of things. Bogdan, hello, sir. I'm sitting in Filecoin, sir. I'm ready to go. And those Filecoin limit orders that we gave you guys not too long ago picked up, okay, on my WEEX'S situation. Okay, we're going to get to WEEX'S in a second, guys. Let's talk Render. So Render was another one. We dropped into our second hot zone. So anybody who was watching Render yesterday, 7.11, hit our zone, nice little bounce. And then when we pinged our rejection zone, you will see it's a big reaction zone for me. 382, trend, anchored VWAPs, horizontals. And that is why when we hit that zone, I said, okay, Sniper Club, I'm taking a head short here. Okay, so I dropped that in Sniper Club that I was shorting Render, and it's typical reaction zone, typical rejection zone. And I just want to flip this over for you guys to see why that makes sense as a short. Let's flip this thing over, and you can see what happened here. We broke trend. Okay, nice little trend break. What happens? Rejected horizontal, typical move, retest. Okay, now we could potentially be faced with something like that. Okay, if the short is going to play out, that is why it's a head short for me. So if the longs keep ripping, that's great. I get stopped out of the head shorts. But if the longs start falling over now, I've got cover on my stop losses. So Render will pay for a few stop losses on the way down. I'm obviously net bullish. I'm net long on everything, but it's nice to have some cover when you have a nice pump in the market. It's something to consider. You don't have to open a million shorts, but if you have a nice pump in the market, okay, maybe it's worth looking at some of your best tokens in hot zones and maybe pick one or two that you can head short. Again, it doesn't always work because if you carry on pumping through these hot zones, you'll get stopped, but then your other accounts start moving higher. So it's just a little system I employ in case we get some downside, and that is why we call it a head short. Okay, so head shorting Render at the moment. And let's see. Okay, so let's see how that plays out. I mean, where are we now? Let's see. I've got a Brett head short, Render head short, Myro head short. Hopefully I get rinsed on this Myro head short because my WEEX'S account was under severe pressure yesterday. And yeah, XRP head short, AVAX head short. Okay, so that is what's going on there. Okay, let's go. Let's talk WEEX'S. So what a nightmare. Okay, we survived that Myro dip. Now, I hope some of you guys survived it. You can see my Myro went to minus $1,500. I think at the worst. And now it's bounced back I picked up that extra buy order yesterday that I told you guys where I was buying on Myro. I bought some more on that level, and you can see we've had a reversal. Now I'm only negative 250. But what is interesting here is this is the beauty of having your limit orders preset waiting for you in the dead of the night. File was negative 200 or whatever. It was heavy. It pinged a limit order that we set on file a couple of shows back, added to my position. That is now green. 𝗔𝗞 as well. That thing is surviving. Rune picked a limit order as well. Dipped lower, pinged the limit order, sent it higher. That thing's turned green. You can see I'm in a phantom head short now on this account after closing a phantom long from a limit order that I took yesterday. Okay, so we had a nice bounce on phantom. I closed the long, opened the head short in case the market falls over, and then whiff. I mean, this is absolute perfection, and I really hope some of you guys got that. Look at that. I told you guys we were setting limit orders at 3 for whiff. Look at that thing of beauty. Raymond, did you take whiff? Tell me you got some whiff.
I didn't take whiff, no. But
Raymond.
that's a bank.
Raymond.
That's a bank.
Okay, so guys, the power of the hot zones. Okay, the power of the hot zones. Here we go. Whiff delivers for us again off a banger area. So that 3 is the absolute bottom of that move. Now, yeah, this thing can turn over again, obviously. But again, something to be said. Low leverage, bull market, understanding key levels. Where can you get your buys in? Where can you set your orders and sleep nicely? Okay. And sometimes the combination of these works. You can see these are very small positions relative to the other stuff I'm trading at the moment. And we're just trying to grow some positions and see how we go. So the end may not be, it could still turn over and these things could still put me under tons of pressure. But for now, it's just a nice lesson in having your limit orders at key levels. Okay. If you can figure that thing out, and you can obviously do that by watching the show, but if you can figure that stuff out, then, life becomes a lot easier. Okay, so let's talk whiff. And look at this absolute banger. I mean, this is absolutely cooking now. And it's dipped in just into, I said yesterday, 3 to 2.8 was what I'm watching. Obviously, we've now rocketed off, but now we're at resistance now. So with traders, this is actually a little bit of a danger area here for us. So we got to see how we go now. But what I would say here, for me, on that whiff trade that I'm in, if we get a hard pop now through this resistance, I'm going to start adding to that whiff position. And I'm going to bank on the fact that we hold any retest there. So then I'm going to start looking for higher targets. So for me, it's going to be 3.9 and it's going to be 4.3 are the targets that I'm going to be watching now on whiff. So watch that one closely. We've had our hot zone. Okay, it paid for us. And now this thing is cooking. So let's take a look here. Wave Master, look at this banger. Okay, looks like we might get a move now to the upside. Last time we saw a turn like this on Wave Master, we did have a nice move. So something to watch. Let's not discount the fact that we get a hard rejection and they double bottom us. Okay, but I'd like to see whiff just hold the lows. So if we do have a situation like that, maybe a bit of pressure on whiff, but then look for something like that. Look for the double bottom, look for the higher lows, something like that in that type of region, even at about 3.1 if they really come with pressure. But that 4 hour is telling us potentially, bigger things coming to the upside. And then let's just see where we are on the daily on whiff. Okay, daily at the top. Okay, this sticks to my view that these alts might get a little bit more downside. Okay, so that is unchanged now. And you can see our stock on the daily also pushing lower. That still wants to come down a little bit. Okay, so we got to monitor this. We'll pay attention. We can have a situation like this. Look at that. Wave Master at the top. What happened? Little dip, and then they sent it up again. Look at that. Little dip, they sent it up again. What did it do? Divergence there. So it is possible that we can get a little bit more upside here on the daily. But right now, 4 hour looks good. Wants to go higher. We know our levels now. You've got your support at 3. And let's see how that plays out. That trend break, I think, is going to be pretty bullish for whiff. So let's see how that goes out. And then Myro. So yeah, Myro's been interesting. So I'm torn at the moment for Myro. You can see why I shorted Myro on my Bybit account as a hedge. This is a major resistance band. 200-day moving average, 382 horizontals. This is a tough area for Myro. So I'm actually a little bit torn between cutting some of my position now on WEEX'S and just trying to hold things here. And let's see if we get some momentum. So, I mean, I was really in a hole, okay? And you can see that that bounce we had there off that zone. Look at that. Anchored VWAP came into play for us there at 1.097. Late last night. So nice little bounce there, but we are not out of the woods yet. Okay, so if you are longing Myro, you are longing it late, you are longing it into resistance, and this thing could end up in trouble. So what you want to see here, ideally, a hard push. This is our 200-day moving average. Look at that. We want a hard push through that. If we can get that hard push, we can use the 200-day as our bullish support. And then any pullbacks here, we can be comfortable and start using that, because we know if we lose that 200-day MA, then it's fucked. Okay, then it's going back to zero, and they're going to put us under tons of pressure. So,
what is it again? Is it just fucked?
No, it's fucked. Then I'm going to hell. Okay, so. I mean, it was a hell of a ride, this Myro. I'm nearly out of the woods there. But again, guys, I just want to reiterate, okay, the power of patience, the power of understanding that everything between the hot zones is often just noise. So if you're trying to catch breakouts on 5-minute candles, you're trying to catch breakouts on 15 minutes, and you're not zooming out, you're not looking where your big zones are, then you may be putting yourself at a little bit of a disadvantage. So the power of using key levels in combination with momentum and trend breaks, that can really start delivering for you guys. And you can see that's now paying out. If we closed all of this stuff, I'd probably be doing okay in the comp. Now we're going to see if this thing starts ripping a little bit further. Let's see if there's a little bit more gas. And then SUI traders. Okay, there's news on SUIs. Yeah, it's invalidated, bro. It's invalidated. The SUI blockchain has been down for 51 minutes. This was earlier today, and sounds like SUI got wrecked. And who else loves it when Dylan wins? Come on, guys. Please mark your fuck levels on the charts, fam. Cointelegraph says, official announcement from SUI. So they said the SUI network is experiencing an outage, not processing transactions. It's fucked, okay? And they were under a ton of pressure. So let's look at the SUI chart. What does the market think about that? Hard dip, okay? They gave it a hard dip earlier. Look at that. But look how quickly that sell-off was bought. Now, we remember, we've seen this story on Solana a couple of times where the SOL would break down, the quick price dip, and then gets bought up super quickly in a bull market. I suspect the same for SUI. So typical FUD here for the guys, probably just trying to get some entries for their buddies. You know, let's put out an announcement. It's fucked. And then we get some entries, and then we send this thing higher. So SUI looks okay, but what I can give you now, anyone who's watching SUI, I can give you your DGen level, your DGen support. This is SUI on the 1 hour. You can see we've got a nice level here. Okay, big support here. Yes, sir.
SOL is really like $1 away from all-time high. So
I'm pleased. I'm very pleased.
Let's go.
Where's it?
Bullhorn.
I'm feeling pleased. I'm feeling pleased currently. guys, anybody who stayed in the SOL trade, really, okay, if you guys have been hanging with me on the SOL trade from 120, okay, remember those days? Did anyone hang on? Okay, we are here. We are at Valhalla now. This is the moment we've been waiting for. Make sure you buy your wife a handbag. Okay, make sure you buy your husband something, a nice new pair of socks or nose hair trimmer. I mean, this is the moment that we need to go. We need to enjoy these moments. Okay, so SOL, it's banging all-time high here. 270 comes next. You guys saw that fractal. Okay, that fractal was sending us to 800. Okay, I mean, there's some stupid targets here on SOL, but baby steps. Let's get through all-time highs. Okay, let's get through this period where we get that retest. Okay, let's get that retest there. So we got lots of work to do. Okay, let's get that retest zone. Then we're gonna see. How we play. Okay, so SOL, congratulations, anybody who hung on for that long. Well done. Now let's finish SUI. So SUI's interesting. So DGen traders, if you are feeling bullish now in these current conditions, your DGen first line of support for the DGens now is 3.49. Okay, watch that. That is your safest DGen zone, 3.49. Then, unfortunately, if you're trying to ride this thing, your next zone has got to be 3.35, and look out for that. Okay, a little dip into that area there, 3.26. Okay, so 3.26. So if you're asking me, is there a high conviction trade on SUI for me here? No. Okay, it's no trade here for me, but there's a DGen play. There might be a little scalp here for you guys, but you can see what's going on. High risk. Look at that resistance zone. Okay, so this could just mean we're just going to send this thing a little bit lower down. Okay, so look out for that. 3.26 is what you want to watch. If there's a heavy sell-off, 3.07 is going to be your next one. So for me, just a little bit of patience here. And Luciano, how are you, bro? Okay, and let's go. Okay, ADA, I took that long on ADA. Why did I take it? This was the hot zone I gave you guys yesterday, so you can see why. Okay, no changes here. Look at that. What do we got? Anchored VWAP 618 horizontals. Bang. Okay, there. Off she goes off that nice little region. So things are looking good now on ADA. We actually had 2 bites. Look at that. Couple of bites here on ADA, so that thing is moving. I'm just going to raise my stop now to entry. I'm not going to sit around and find out. That's not it was just a short-term little scalp trade. So let's see. I mean, where are we here? There it is. Okay, so it's a little one. Okay, it's a 350 up. Okay, 350 up. Let's see. Okay, so we're going to put our stop there at entry. And yes, guys, that is that. So Injective, no changes on Injective. God, this was a long show. Sorry, everybody. Thanks for hanging with me. Okay, you've got your levels, you got your plans, you know what I'm doing. And yes, just play safe out there. Okay, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. I'm on this channel again tomorrow, so make sure you come back. And maybe we do another giveaway as well. I'm sure we can arrange something for you guys. Okay, thanks for hanging. See you later.
Dude, I'm getting wrecked again. Unbelievable.
On what? On what?